Hi, this is R. Melanix, and this is my solve of regional sandwiches. It's a Sudoku with what I call little sandwich clues. Little sandwich clues are these diagonals, and the digits between the 1 and the 9 along the diagonal sum to 15. So let's say this is a 1 and this is a 9. Then these three digits would have to sum to 15 for this clue to work. And the other additional rule for these diagonals is only exactly one 1 and one 9 is along these diagonals. There can't be another, for example, another 1 here. That won't work. And the question marks means number 0 or greater. So it could be 0 or 10 or 15. Anything 0 or greater. And then we have the typical region sum lines where these cells sum to the same number as this, which sums to the same number as this. And each sum is different per line. So these three sum to this number here. All right, so there's a few starting points, but I like this starting point along this diagonal here. So you have to have one, because of question mark, you have to have 1, 1, and 1, 9 on this diagonal, and they can't be here or here, because if there's a 1 here, by region sum line, the 1 will also be here, so it'd be like 1, 1, and that breaks the rules of the little sandwiches, and same with 9s. So the 1 and 9 have to be down here, and these cannot be 1 and 9. And I'm going to mark gray as not 1 or 9, and red and yellow for the 1 and 9s. The next location to look at is this diagonal, the 20. Along this diagonal, it's very hard to put 1 and 9 on the region sum line. If you put the 1 on the region sum line, then in order to make up for 20, these three digits have to sum to 20, which forces a 9 down here. But that would make this whole line equal to 21, which mathematically doesn't work because the 9 has to be even. And furthermore, even if this could be 10 here, this would require another 9. So that doesn't work with the 1 on the line. The harder one to figure out is 9 capable of working like this? And that would also require this to sum up to 20. And then you'll still have 20 plus 9 on the line. That makes it 29. And that's an odd number. And but this has to sum to an even number because this number is the same as that. So 9 and 1 can't be on the region sum line at all. So these ends are the 1, 9 crust of the sandwich. I'll mark this yellow and this one the opposite, red. Now we can clean up a bit. All these are gray. Remember, anything inside the sandwich is gray also. These are gray because it can't be red or yellow. So red is one of these two. And this can't be red or it can't be red or yellow because it sees both of them. So the next spot to look at is this 10 clue here. Let's quickly mark this as being gray. The 10 clue here, and we can't put 1 or 9 here, so we have to sandwich 10 somewhere here. So can this be a crust? Can that be the 1 or 9? If that's the crust, then this has to be all summed to 10. That would require this can be, minimum is a 3 from region sum line, but that would put a 1 on the line. We can't because we already have the 1 on the crust. So this one actually has to be a 5 in order to not put a 1 on this line. So 5, 2, 3, that's like the minimum you can make this without using 1 in here. And that's already up to 10. So that breaks the total of the sandwich. So the crust can't be there. The crust has to be one of these two. And since this is on a region sum line, this crust can't be the 9, because if this is a 9, then this digit has to be greater than 9. So the crust in yellow here is 1. So that we know now that the 1 is yellow and the red is 9. So now let's look at which value can this be 1. And here, if you select this as 1 here, you're saying that this is sums to 10. But remember, this region sum line here sums to 20. So this total here is 10, and this is 10. So we already know that this purple is 10 here. And if this sums to 10 also, then we'll have two 10s that share the same digit, and that's impossible. For example, if this is 4, these would both have to be 6, or this is 2, these would both have to be 8. It's impossible for this to be 10 and this to be 10 simultaneously. And since we already know this is 10, this can't be 10. So that pushes this crust out to here. So this has to be the 1. So now we know that these 3 digits sum to 10. So what digit could they be? Well, if this is a 3, then this would have to be a 2 for the region sum line to work. 2 plus 1 is 3. And then that will leave a 5 here, which doesn't work because that'll require 5, 5 for this 10. So this can't be 3. It can't be 2 because that's too small for the region sum line. So can it be 4? 4 plus 3 is 7. That gives you 3 here for the 10, and then this will be 7. So that works. Can 5 work? 5 is too big, because if this is 5, then this will have to be 4 for the region sum line, and that would require a 1 here, and we can't put a 1 there. So 5 doesn't work. So the only number that does work is a 4. So this is a 4, that's a 3. This is 10 here, which requires a 7 there. Now this sums to 3, because the region sum line. So this is a 1, 3. Now we know more yellows like that. The ones are up here. And we know that this is on a region sum line, so these two digits are the same, and it's not 1 or 9, so that's gray also. And this is gray, and these are gray because you see 1 and 9. These are gray because you see 1 and 9. In fact, the 1 is placed in box 4, and then the 3 is placed by Sudoku here, which forces here because of the region sum line. And now let's look at this diagonal here. It's a question mark, so you don't know the total, but you know it has to have 1, 9, and 1, 1 on it. It already has a 1, so it has to have a 9 either here or here for the diagonal to work. And it can't be here because of the 9 here, so this is a 9. So that diagonal is done. And then it actually places a 9 here. These are all grayified. This is grayified. This is grayified, so 1 is over here. And 1's here. 9 is up here. 1 is somewhere up here. So what to look at next, I think, is the 15 clue. the 15 clue requires a 9 on it, and you can't put the 9 here because of Sudoku. You can't put a 9 here because that would make this digit bigger than 9 because of the Regent sum line. You can't put the 9 here because this is the same digit as this. That's not 9. And this can't be 9 because Sudoku, and that can't be 9 from Sudoku. So this is 9. That gets more grayified done. So 9 is over here somewhere. In fact, let's look at these possible digits. And because there's 3 cells in this region on that line, this has to be at least a 6. Oops, has to be at least a 6. And it can't be a 9 because of Sudoku. So 1 has to be somewhere on here because this has to sum to 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now let's look at this line here, and this is the diagonal here. The sandwich has to be summed to 15, so this can't be 1 because that would be a 0 sum. So this is the 1, which places a 1 in box 3. Verify that. 9's over here somewhere. And this places the 1. No, that's not, doesn't place a 1. There's a 1 there. And let's also look at, I forgot on this diagonal. We haven't looked at yet, well, since the 9, but we can't place another 1 on this diagonal because the 1's already here. So this can't be 1. So that places the remaining 1's in the grid. And now more grayifying. Can we do any more? Not sure. So where to look at next is this line here. So this is 1 plus something to get to 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this has to be 5, 6, or 7. So 1 plus 5 is 6, 1 plus 6 is 7, 1 plus 7 is 8. But remember, this is a 15 clue, so this can't be 7 and 8, because 7 plus 8 is already 15. You add that number, you blow your total. So it can't be 7, can't be 8. So we're down to 6 or 7 for this Regent sum line. So this has to be either a 2-3 pair or a 2-4 pair. There. So let's figure out what's possible for this cell. This is gray, by the way. If this is 5 plus 6, that's 11, leaving 4 left over for 15. If this is 6 plus 7, that's 13, leaving 2 left over. It creates a 2-4 pair here. Now let's look at the 12 diagonal and realize the 9 can't be here because that would be too many cells to sum to 12. So that can't be 9. The 9 has to be here. Last spot for 9. That places the remaining 9's in the grid. And now we have all the 9's and 1's placed. So I'm going to just get rid of the grays. We don't need that anymore. However, let's see what we can put here. So this is 12. So we can't use 9 and 3 because 9 is across. 8 and 4 doesn't work because 4 sees this and this is a 2-4 pair. So you can't put 4 here. So it's either 5, 7 or 6, 6. If you try 6, 6, it breaks this total because that would make this a 5 and a 7 by Sudoku, and then you have 1 plus 5 is 7, which is incorrect. So the 6's would break this, so these can't be 6's. So this is a 5, 7 pair. 5 plus 7 and 12. So this digit sees both 5 and 7, so it can't be 7. So in fact, this is a 6, which finishes the of the grid there. So now this sandwich is done. This sandwich is done. This sandwich is done. This sandwich is done. And so now it's just Sudoku left, except for we know that these sum to 10. So it's either 2, 8 or 4, 6 because it can't be 3, 7 or 1, 9. This is not 4, that's not 6. So now let's look at what's a good digit to look at. 4 is over here. 4 is there. 4 is somewhere over here. Can't be here because of the region sum line, and that 4 there. Let's look at 5s, 2s, 3s. Should have more 3s, 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 3s. 3 is over here. And over here. 6s, 7s, 7 in the middle. Not many 8s, so let's look at these cell here. These are 2, 8, and a 5. But the 5 can't be here because that would place a 5 there. So this is a 5. So this is another 2, 8 here. These are another 2, 8. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 5. That's a 6. Another 2, 8. Should like be filling this as a 6. This is a 2, 8 something. 2, 8, 7. Let's actually start coloring the 2s, 8s. These are the same digit. And let's do the green for the other 2, 8s. So that's orange. That's green. That means orange is over here. Green is somewhere here. What could these be? Can't be 1. It could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2, 6, 8. These digits are up there somewhere. 7 is placed here by Sudoku. So the only spot left for the 4 is here, which makes this the 6 because remember these have to sum to 10. So make this another 2, 8 pair, which is green. So now that's not green. This is green, 2, 8. Orange is one of these two. Orange, not sure. Green is one of these two. Oh, these 3. So that could be green. 6, 6. One of these 2 is 6. 4s, 4s. These are 4s. That places a 4 here. 4, 4, 4. These 2 is a 4. This is a 4, 5s. This is 2, 5, 8. It is the orange 2, 8. What am I missing? I'm missing something easy now. 2, 7, 8. Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 6. 6. 6 is there. That's a 6. 6. 6, 6. A little X weight on 6, 6. What's over here? 8 and something. 8 and 7. 2, 7, 8, 5. 5. That's not 2. 5, 7, 8 over here. This actually sees both green and orange, so that can't be 8. Whoops. That can't be 8. So that means that pushes the 8 up here, which makes green 2 and orange 8. Not sure which one that is. So let's get rid of the orange and the green now. 7, 8. These are not 2. 1, 2. This is the last 8 in that row. 5, 8, 8, 5, 7. What am I missing? 2s, 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 2s. 2s here. And the final 2 is here. 8s. Oh, this is a right in. That's a 7. 8's down there. This is a 8. 8. 7. Wah! 7. 5. 8. 5. Should all fall apart now. 7, 8. This is a 7 and a 4. This is a right in 5. 3, 6 something. 3, 6 and a 4. And this is 2 numbers. What are 6 and 5? And a 3, 4, 7. So 3, 4, 7, 4, 3, and a 6 for the end of the puzzle. Let's check. Make sure I did it right. Okay. Thanks for watching.